Hello, today we will learn about logical reasoning and counterexamples. So first we will learn some definitions. What is a conditional statement? A conditional statement is in the form of if and then. If, then, for. By if-then form, I mean that you have if and then maybe A, then B. And now we will learn what A and B are. So we have two things. We have the hypothesis and the conclusion. The hypothesis is the statement right after the if. So for example, if it rains, it rains is our hypothesis. So in the previous slide, this is A. So this is kind of equal to A. Then I stay inside. This is our conclusion. I stay inside, which is equal to B if we are looking at it the way we wrote it here. And so this is our conclusion. This is the statement right after the then. So now we could actually say that a conditional statement is a statement of the if and then form where the phrase after if is the hypothesis. And of course, the phrase after the then is the conclusion. So now, I wrote it here. Hypothesis if, and then you have the hypothesis, conclusion, then you have your conclusion. You could also think of it as the cause and effect. So if it rains, that is the cause, and the effect is that I don't go outside, I stay inside. So the hypothesis could be thought as the cause and the conclusion as the effect. Now we come to another concept, which is deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is the process of using facts, rules, definitions of properties to reach a valid conclusion. So this is very important because, as you might see here, we have our keyword conclusion that we just learned its meaning before. So why does it say to reach a valid conclusion and maybe not a valid hypothesis? Well, this is a very interesting property of an if-then statement. So an if-then statement only goes one way. So the hypothesis leads to the conclusion. However, the conclusion does not lead to the hypothesis. So if the hypothesis is true, then the conclusion must also be true. So if it rains, I need to be outside. I cannot be outside because the if-then statement already says that if it rains, I'm gonna be inside. However, if the conclusion is true, so conclusion is true, the hypothesis can be true or false. We don't know anything about it. Because if I'm inside, maybe it's because it's late or I just don't want to go outside, not necessarily because it's raining. So the conclusion does not mean, if the conclusion is true, it doesn't mean that the hypothesis is true. So that is why deductive reasoning is the process of using facts, rules, in this case probably if, then, rules. Definitions are properties to reach a valid conclusion, not a hypothesis but a valid conclusion.